So the Buddhist teachers say the idea really is to apply the remedies. And then we come to the third approach, which is what I said, the Vajrayana approach. Some people would like to jump into that right away because it sounds so tempting, because it says you don't need to get rid of anything. Emotions are fine, but you have just to transform them so that they are transformed in their enlightened aspect. Because in every emotion is an enlightened aspect, a wisdom. The problem is it's very difficult to do, and it needs all these other preparations before it. It needs really a disciplined mind. But I thought it is very good to know about it. Tibetan Buddhism in general has such a treasure of methods, and very often in these classes where we meet and talk about it, we only learn the very first step, and it might sound very boring because it says sit down and watch your breath, and you have to do that for a long time before going on, which is true, but if you don't know the big picture, then you don't know what all is coming. And I'm sure myself, I have just seen a tiny little bit of a large picture. So that's why I painted this diagram and wanted at least to mention it, even though it might not be something that we can put into action right away. But so here the idea is that that fundamentally we all have basic sanity, or an enlightened mind that is covered up by mistaken views. And if we can take away the mistaken view, then we can have access to the wisdom that is already there in the mind. And the mistaken view comes simply from the fact of making the separation between I here and the world and the people out there. And by doing this separation, whatever I experience is referred back to headquarters and put through this machinery. Is it serving me or is it not serving me, and how do I react to it? And the Buddha said, you can take that away and have just a direct experience of what is. Then you have access to the wisdom quality in everything, and also in emotions. There are different ways then how in Tibetan Buddhism with emotions in the Vajrayana, how you deal with emotions. One is to just learn to look directly into the mind, directly into the emotion, and thereby discover the nature of it. And the other one is working with these for us, more exotic ways of visualizing deities that represent these emotions, and saying their mantra, visualizing them, and doing all kinds of visualizations with light and so on. One really needs a lot of confidence in a good teacher to be able to do that, because otherwise it seems so far away from this emotion that you have with your neighbor who is too noisy. Yeah? Then you think, what does this visualizing a colorful Buddha and saying a mantra, what at all does that have to do with? So as all Buddhist methods, it is never working in this direct way. Like you apply a method and you got the result immediately. It's a long-term process. And so therefore these Vajrayana techniques with visualization and chanting and mantras and so on needs commitment and needs a long-term approach for it to have results. So here then, this is kind of an overview where I wanted to present this. Let's start with the lowest petal, where it's written Vajra family, mirror-like wisdom, anger. So anger is a neurotic form of a wisdom. In anger, there's the quality, the enlightened quality of clarity. And sometimes that comes out in anger. where someone who becomes angry has seen a situation very clearly and therefore also can be very strong in cutting down the adversary. So there's something wrong and hurtful in it. Wrong not in a moral sense, but in the sense of creating suffering. That is this idea of, as I said before, yeah, a territory that you defend against the other. But there's this other aspect, the clarity that saw exactly what was going on in the situation, and that is a form of wisdom, clarity wisdom. And so it is said, if you deal with the energy of anger in its pure form, it is mirror-like wisdom. It is just mirroring what is happening. If you take out the ego of the anger, then you just have this capacity to see clearly what is going on and to know what is the right way to act. And so this would be anger in its transformed way. And so the Tibetans then depicted as a Buddha of the Vajra family. If you don't like all these names, just forget about it. All this has then leads to more. There's practices, rituals, how you would practice this particular Buddha, and thereby this energy, and you would purify the energy. And for those of you who know Buddhist art, you might see these tankas, the roll pictures, or roll paintings. They sometimes have these diagrams where you have something in the center and things around, and in one way or the other it always refers to these Buddha families, meaning the enlightened aspects of our mind, and so the enlightened aspects of these different emotions. And for example, for the anger, there's all kinds of associations to it. There's an element, water, there's a color, blue, and by working with these symbols, that all helps to transform in a way that doesn't go through the intellect, but in a deeper way to transform the anger. So this is just to give you an idea why the Tibetans came up with all these deities and the colors. I won't go through all these details for every single emotion, but if you want, then the Buddha family in the middle, that is referring to the emotion of ignorance. And ignorance has an enlightened aspect to it, and that is a space. Notice, the ignorance part is just being dull and indifferent. If you take out the ego aspect, then you just have the spaciousness where everything can be accommodated. And this is called Dhammadhatu wisdom. Dhammadhatu just means things as they are, the sphere of things as they are. Again, technical terms. But so the idea of the pure aspect of ignorance is to be spacious and accommodating. Then to the left side, Ratna family, wisdom of equality, pride, the transformed or enlightened aspect of pride is, first we said pride is this idea of feeling superior to the other, and by looking directly into it, we discover that there is no foundation for feeling superior, for feeling above everyone else. And so we get an understanding of the equality of all beings and all phenomena, and in Buddhism this comes through the meditation of emptiness, by seeing that things appear in the mind, whatever we perceive, we don't know anything more about it, but that it appears in our mind. And in this sense, everything is empty, and it just depends on conditions. For example, the condition that I am there to perceive it.